the song. Thoughts become action, tell me what's happening. Wish your mind wrapped around.
This CSS, and this is a self-closing tag, and we're specifying all of those attributes. So same way that we were doing a linking out, we're using href, linking out to the style sheet. We do rel to specify that this link is a style sheet. That's what we're expecting. Go back out to the page, refresh it, and our styling is back. And now whenever I open up this, I can update the styling, I can update the colors, and we can see that when I update the page, it's actually updated and gets reflected across all of the pages linking to it. So in the next lesson, we're going to show you, and we're going to briefly talk about what JavaScript is and how it can be added into your HTML page. So that's coming up in the next lesson. So much like we could bring in external CSS content into our web pages, we can bring in JavaScript. And the same way that we did JavaScript, we can do CSS. Let's open up our editor and let me show you. So basically with CSS, we linked out to a style sheet. We also had the option to use our current on-page styling. So same thing with JavaScript. So if I want to link out to a JavaScript file, I could do script, and I could just type in the script source. So this one, interestingly enough, works like images where we're specifying source, as opposed to the styling that works like the hyperlinks. So specify the source file, and let's create a source file. So we'll just call it script. So JavaScript files are JS files, and what JavaScript does is it gives you the ability to create dynamic interaction within your web content. So when you look at your web page, you've got three basic fundamental languages that make up every single web page and that the browsers render out that content from. So you've got your HTML, which is your overall structure and your content of the web page. So everything that's visual and everything that the user is able to consume within the web page. Then we've got styling, which allows us to customize the look and feel of our web page. And then we've got JavaScript, which allows us to create dynamic, interactive content, interact with our HTML elements, and a whole lot more. So we can bring a script file in, and you'll see also online there's a number of libraries, and this gives you the ability to bring these libraries into your projects and use JavaScript. Now, if you want to use JavaScript within your page, you don't always have to link out to script file. Much like what we did with CSS, we could create the tags script, and then within here we can do, so this is just a simple alert within JavaScript. So that does that little pop-up thing. I'm not going to get too much into JavaScript. I just want to show you that how to bring JavaScript into your pages. And as you get comfortable with HTML, then you move on to CSS. As you're comfortable with CSS and HTML, then move on to JavaScript. So let's open up our web page, and I'll show you how we've got JavaScript firing off, and I can also create a brand new JavaScript file. So going over to here, I can copy that script content over to that page, and again, remember, I'm not specifying opening up the HTML tags because this in itself is going to be a JavaScript file. So we're going to give it a JavaScript extension, JS, and now that we've linked to it, like we did with the style sheet, let's refresh it, and we see our JavaScript still fires off as if it was on the page, works the same way, just like the CSS. So you can run it and have it function as if it was on the page. And again, the benefit of linking out to this external file is that you can really easily bring this functionality across your entire website. So it doesn't matter how many pages you have, if you link to the JavaScript, if you link to the CSS, you can utilize it within your web page. Now, of course, with HTML, with JavaScript, with CSS, it takes practice. So I do encourage you to take a look through the source code, take a look through the different lessons, and either open up, get your own editor, try it out on your computer, try out those HTML files within your browser, or you could go to resources like CodePen and try out different HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and see what you can make happen with these languages. And always a great place to start is to develop your first HTML template. Start again with just that basic structure. You've got your HTML opening and closing tags, your head, opening and closing, body and opening and closing, and then try to add in content and add more and more structuring until you develop out your website as you're expecting it to look, and then add in that styling to really get that look and feel and that customized customized display of your website content. And then after you're comfortable with HTML and CSS, then you can look into JavaScript, and JavaScript is an excellent way to provide additional functionality for web users. Welcome to our introductory course about HTML. My name is Lawrence, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course. I come to you with over 18 years of web development experience, and I'm excited to have the opportunity to share my knowledge with you. Within this course, I'm going to be walking you through the fundamental core concepts of developing a website, and that's HTML. I'm going to be showing you how you can create HTML web pages really easily and quickly. We're going to start by introducing you to the basics of HTML, and I'm going to show you how you can build out your own HTML template in order to structure your HTML code, and we're going to be going also into building out your own HTML5 template, discussing more about HTML5, what it is, how it's used, and how to develop content smarter. Also looking at basic structuring of your content, so you don't just have one big blob of content. You can break it apart with headings, with paragraphs, with line breaks, and so on. We're also going to be looking at how we can use lists in order to list out content so it's more consumable by web users. Also, the core fundamentals of websites and how we can use hyperlinks, linking out to external pages, to pages within my website, and also to bookmark pieces of content or sections of my current web projects. Also looking at images. Images are fundamental for any website. Users love images. I'm going to show you how to bring those images into your web pages. Also looking at divs and spans, how we can better structure content, how we can bring in styling, CSS into our web projects to get a better look and feel. Also how HTML5, more semantic elements in HTML5 like headers, footers, and so on. Also, HTML forms, all the different fundamental types of HTML forms, how we can apply attributes to get even more power out of our HTML elements, and then also how we can build out our entire web page and how we can structure our web page and our website content. So all this and a whole lot more is included in this course. Also, the source code and resources that I'm going to be using within this course as well are going to be included so that you have everything you need in order to get started creating HTML code. So when you're ready, let's start creating some HTML code and work through the lessons. Also, try it out for yourself and see what you can make happen with HTML. HTML is the foundation of the internet. Learning how to create HTML code is the starting point to creating your own web pages and creating HTML formatted web content. Simple and comprehensive guide dedicated to helping beginners who want to learn more about HTML and want to learn how to use it. This course walks you through all the common elements of HTML, outlining front-end web design and web development. This course is perfect for beginners who want to know more about web page creation. Learn to create HTML code from scratch. Step into the course and you'll find that HTML is easy to get started with. We provide all of the resources and links that you need. Everything is included to get you started quickly. Explore HTML tags, see how and what they can do, learn the fundamentals of HTML, see HTML elements and how they can be used to structure your web page. Get to know HTML. Learn how to create tables, lists, forms, and a whole lot more. Create your own reusable HTML template. Learn what's new with HTML5. HTML5 is ready for modern website design. Learn how you can add images and links within your web content. This course will teach you how to create and develop web pages. I'm here to help you learn about HTML and ready to answer any questions you may have. So what are you waiting for? Start learning to create your own web pages today. Join now. This lesson I'm going to show you how to create an HTML template, and we're going to get into the basics of what HTML is. So first of all, we actually need to create a file in order to write our content into. So I'm on a Windows machine. This is where I'm going to be creating my index page, my index.html page. So we need to create that initial file that's going to hold our HTML content so that we can go to that file via the browser, render it out, and actually see our HTML content visible within our page. So you probably already have the tools within your computer in order to create a file. If you don't, then you can go ahead and use brackets, and simply all we need to do to start out is create a brand new file. So I'm just going to create a brand new file, and now I'm going to save this file. This is a completely blank file. And I'm opening it up, so make sure that you've got that correct path there that you're saving it to. So I'm saving it, and a good practice to get into is to always start out, and your initial page where you want your website to launch out of should be called index.html. So especially if you're doing an HTML page, this is where the server will understand that this is the root page, and if there's no other page specified, then by default it will render that out. So that's for when the server is running and it's looking for a starting point for your domain. It's going to look at those index files in order to start out, find a starting point for your file. So now that we've created that, we can go and we can access it within our browser, and as we see, not much happening as of yet because we don't have any HTML code yet within our page. So as I did say, there are different ways that you can work with your code. So we can go ahead and we can open up our editor, we can type content into the editor, so I can start typing in some content in here, save it, I can go out here, refresh it, and I can see my HTML code getting output within the page. And you're probably saying, well, wait a minute, this isn't HTML code because all you've done is created a file, called it index.html, given an extension of HTML, and just typed hello world. So this is true because the way that the browser actually works is that when it sees this extension, HTML, then it knows that it should try to render this out as HTML code. And if there's no HTML wrapping that code, then it just reads it as regular text that you want to output within your web page. And that's why we're able to see hello world as I've typed it in. So one of the things that I want to show you as well is how you can actually update your code right within your browser, save that file so that you've got that ability to see what's being displayed. So kind of like what we saw at CodePen, where we can see and we can make some updates and then we can just refresh it. So we don't have to always flip back and forth between our browser and our editor. So go ahead and open that file up that you've created, index.html, so it can be completely blank. Open it up in your browser, and hopefully you've got Chrome installed on your system, and if you don't, then Chrome is a really good browser in order to install because it gives you a lot of flexibility. So let's go ahead and open that file up in Chrome, and within Chrome we've got what's called our dev tools, and you can open this up. Again, I'm on a Windows machine, so I'm Control-Shift-I, but you can also open that up within Macs. You can go into the settings here, and you can go under More Tools, and you've got Developer Tools as well. So a number of different ways to access that same console, and when you click that Developer Tools, you're going to see that you've got this developer dashboard that opens up, and so you've got a number of tabs here at the top. You've got elements. So basically under elements, we see all of our code. So I've just made it bigger as well in order so it's better to see it within this course. But within elements, under the elements tag, you can see that you've got all of the source code there, so it's automatically, as mentioned before, even though I don't have that in the source code, it's actually trying to add some HTML. And I'm going to be explaining this as well as we progress through the course, or we progress through the lesson. So there's a number of other really important tabs here within browser tools, and the other one that we want to look at is sources. So sources gives you a full path to where your file is located. So we see that this file is located on my K drive under the folder. The script source. So this one, interestingly enough, works like images where we're specifying source as opposed to the styling that works like the hyperlinks. So specify the source file, and let's create a source file. So we'll just call it script. So JavaScript files are JS files, and what JavaScript does is it gives you the ability to create dynamic interaction within your web content. So when you look at your web page, you've got three basic fundamental languages that make up every single web page and that the browsers render out that content from. So you've got your HTML, which is your overall structure and your content of the web page. So everything that's visual and everything that the user is able to consume within the web page. Then we've got styling, which allows us to customize And now whenever I open up this, I can update the styling, I can update the colors, and we can see that when I update the page, it's actually updated and gets reflected across all of the pages linking to it. So in the next lesson, we're going to show you, and we're going to briefly talk about what JavaScript is and how it can be added into your HTML page. So that's coming up in the next lesson. So much like we could bring in external CSS content into our web pages, we can bring in JavaScript. And the same way that we did JavaScript, we can do CSS. Let's open up our editor and let me show you. So basically with CSS, we linked out to a style sheet. We also had the option to use our current on-page styling. So same thing with JavaScript. So if I want to link out to a JavaScript file, I could do script, and I could just type in.
Everybody's wrong. Rewrote the song. Thoughts become action. Tell me what's happening. Wish your mind wrapped around.
This CSS, and this is a self-closing tag, and we're specifying all of those attributes. So same way that we were doing a linking out, we're using href, linking out to the style sheet. We do rel to specify that this link is a style sheet. That's what we're expecting. Go back out to the page, refresh it, and our styling is back.